Hey guys, Mike T here. This is comic book review for last week, which would be, the week of May 14th, 2014. As you can see, got a decent amount of books. Most of them are DC books. I believe only one of them is Marvel. Let me double check. Yeah, only one of them is Marvel this week. I know it's a late review, seeing as I'm probably going to be uploading this tonight, which is Wednesday the 21st, so new comics are coming out this week, or today. As you can see, I'm not with my friend Jordan. Due to scheduling conflicts and work and everything, we just weren't able to do the reviews together. Hopefully this week we'll be able to do them. I'm going to start off with a book that came out maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm not really sure when it came out, but I got it. Justice League United #0. It's a pretty good book. First Justice League title I got starts off with a group of aliens kinda bioengineering a super alien, if you will, by combining the DNA of all these other alien species, when all of a sudden Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, Animal Man, and a bunch of other people basically crash the party and are trying to stop them. And that's just the introduction. And so obviously we got to figure out how everything happened up to that point. So we go back, and it's 3 days earlier, and something like a Comic-Con convention is going on, I guess, where Animal Man and let's see, what is this girl? Stargirl are at a convention signing, meeting fans and everything. And this guy comes up to them and saying how he needs to meet them because he found something strange that they need to investigate, because his assistant, was it assistant or student? I think it was student. Yeah, grad student. Were investigating a dig site and she vanished. Disappeared. So obviously that's something that superheroes can handle. And so he gets them to help her. He gets him to help him find her. And while they're searching, they get ambushed by these alien robots, which are over here, right there. And they fight them off, and they survive. And then it goes on to a side story of this girl. Yeah, this girl who comes out of school, and she comes home, and she meets some guy that's kind of just chilling in her room. Not her room, her grandmother's house. And he apparently knows her, because he's calling her by name. And he's like, it's me. Don't you recognize me? And she obviously doesn't know who he is. Her name is, where's her name? Mahiabin. It's a name like that, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. And he's saying he needs her help because something's happening. When then he turns into a zombie type thing and tries to attack her. It's a great way to start off your day, especially after school. And he turned into this monster, and she is apparently a superhero, and I don't know what she does really, because she kind of either absorbs him or something, and then her grandma comes home and she starts freaking out. The girl, not the grandma, because she thinks all of this is real, and the grandma says nothing was there. What are you talking about? Calm down, blah blah blah. So then it goes back to them fight the other guys, Animal Man and Stargirl, and Adam fighting these robots. Adam kind of gets knocked out, and they're fighting. Then all of a sudden, Animal Man's about to get... I don't know what's gonna happen to Animal Man. He looks like it's about to either eat him or kiss him or something. Then all of a sudden, an arrow... Guess who? An arrow pierces the armor of the alien. And Green Arrow and Martian Manhunter show up. And they continue to fight them off. And they're Adam basically tells them the story of what's going on. And Animal Man and Green Arrow have some banter back and forth. And they're trying to track to where the rest of the aliens came from. And they find them, and then they summon one of the prototypes of the alien that they showed earlier, which is up here. This is the prototype, because they know something's unstable, and they're trying to fight it, and it's a giant towering fire thing. And so, while they're fighting that, the moon of Thalzalia is where the rest of these guys are. And the minions kind of inform them, like, hey, the Justice League is interfering, blah, blah, blah. And, the guy basically asks, is it Superman? Is it Batman? Is it Green Lantern? Is it one of the heavy hitters? He said, no, the only person of importance is Martian Manhunter. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine, blah. Let's keep going. That it can handle them. So then there's this room of prisoners of different species that have been taken. And Lobo shows up to try to round them all up. And this one girl that's in here, Alana, is the grad student that everyone else on Earth is looking for. Then all of a sudden we have Hawkman show up, because he's apparently got taken prisoner, and he and Lobo start about to fight, and that's where the issue ends. So it goes to Hawkman about to start a fight with Lobo. Good book. Solid read if you're into, like, lesser known Justice League members. So far this is really good. That was issue 0. And then issue 1 came out last week. And it continues right where that left off. The first page is Hawkman and Lobo fighting. And Lobo's kind of a badass. He's not the Lobo that I really remember, even though this might be just new 52 Lobo. Someone posted in the comments whether or not I'm right. This is the Lobo now, I guess. Who I don't really... He doesn't really look familiar. He's a lot thinner than I remember Lobo being. So Hawkman's fighting Lobo. Lobo kind of takes him out. And then they start doing an epic battle. Hawkman is fighting him so that the rest of the prisoners can get away. And they're just running. And then they run into the guards. Then back on Earth, they're still fighting that fire monster. And Stargirl's staff hits him. Then the monster turns into stone. And then every time she hits him with a staff, he changes elements. Then that Adam guy falls down and he finds some suits and jetpacks and stuff. And he gets on there. And he is trying to help. And I don't know if the monster's stone or wood now, but they're fighting him, and it just keeps changing elements. So they spend a good amount of time trying to fight him, zaps him again, and he turns into electricity, zaps him, and Jean is trying to go inside of its mind and try to get it to relax because it's a living being, and he's trying to help, but it's not working. So Stargirl still's trying to fight him, fight the thing, and it just keeps changing elements, and they don't know why. Then back on the ship, Alana is helping the prisoners escape, because there's a lot more of them than there are guards. Then Alana runs into a room, and she sees Adam, her teacher, the professor, which we know is on Earth, so it's like, that's not him. So we know something's up, she doesn't, and then he turns out to be a big alien, which we'll see a little bit, but then it goes back to the Hawkman-Lobo fight, and Lobo lobs off Hawkman's arm. I don't know if you saw that or not. Lobs off his arm. So that's pretty interesting. Then it goes back to Earth, them fighting that monster again. And John's in the middle, unconscious, trying to read the mind. Stargirl saves him, and they figure out a way to beat the monster. Or beat it, but it starts to regenerate. But then they get teleported to another planet, because now they're in the middle of outskirts of a city on a planet that has 3 moons. So obviously they're not in Canada anymore. Then this is where Alana gets attacked by the alien pretending to be Adam. And you see Lobo dragging in Hawkman. And we get to see the little baby alien that they're bioengineering to be basically an ultimate weapon. And that's the end of that book. Another really good book. I'm definitely interested in number 2. And the big thing that came out this week from DC, Superman Doomed, parts 1, 2, and 3. So we got the one shot of Superman Doomed, number 1. $5 book. I think it's really good. Book starts off with some fighter jets going to an island where Doomsday is, and they try to blow him up. Doesn't work, and Superman has to save them. And he basically tries to tell the military, hey, let me deal with it. It's Doomsday. You guys aren't doing anything. So then he goes there and trying to figure out what Doomsday is doing here, because you haven't seen Doomsday for a while. And sorry, I got a little confused real quick. Sorry about that, I had to check something. So, Superman's searching the island for Doomsday, and he can't really find him. And the Doomsday we all know is apparently an incomplete Doomsday, like a child, basically. They say it's a larva form. And now here, I'll even put up a picture real quick. And the Doomsday in this book is its more advanced, mature stage. And in here, that is Doomsday we all know. This is the Doomsday that we have now in the red. So you can obviously see a size difference and the appearance difference. And he's much stronger. So basically Superman has to find Doomsday again. And then he goes back to, I believe this is Lana. Lana? Yeah, Lana in Smallville. Like, this is the first Superman book I bought, so I don't know what happened in Smallville leading up to this thing. Leading up to this event. So Lana is trying to get into Smallville. Then Lois shows up. She gets in, and Lana basically hitches a ride with Lois. And they are just talking about what happened And then you have Clark going back to the Daily Planet trying to get advice because he knows what he has to do in order to beat Doomsday. And so he asks for advice, then he goes back, and pretty much everyone in Smallville's dead. And Lana finds her parents, and she's texting Clark to see, like, hey, where are you? And he says he'll be there soon. And it just goes from different country to different country where Doomsday is, trying to find him. And Doomsday's advanced so far that literally just the areas around him start to die. The air, everything just starts to die. Like, fires start and everything. And Steel is in there. I don't really know who Steel is. He is in Zambia. And Doomsday's there, so he shows up. And he's trying to fight Doomsday, and he doesn't stand a chance. Wonder Woman shows up, tries to help him. She doesn't stand a chance. She ends up stabbing him, actually. And poison kind of comes out. And Superman shows up like, no. It's my responsibility. I'm going to do it. And Superman, in a fit of rage, tries to fight Doomsday again. Because he knows what it's going to take. Then you see the Justice League. I'm pretty sure it's the Justice League that they have Doomsday locked up. And for now. And he's saying that he's so much stronger than he is, and he's absorbing life energy. And Doomsday. Wait, did they capture Doomsday? On the way the picture looked, it looked like they did. No, they might not have captured him. I think he disappeared, and what was confusing was this. That might just be like a hologram projection of what Doomsday looks like now. So they're talking about it, and you see Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, kind of because I don't really know what's going on in the Red Lantern and Green Lantern books, but he mentions, I can't get back to help you guys. Green Lantern Corps is fighting on two fronts right now, the Durland and the Huns, both at once. Maybe you can get the Red Lanterns hinting at, like, Supergirl and stuff. And basically, then Lex Luthor comes in and says, unless Superman leaves the planet, Doomsday's not going to stop. Because Doomsday wants Superman. So Superman leaves for a while in order to find where Doomsday is. Doomsday shows up again, and Superman starts fighting him. And he ends up killing him. He rips him apart, and these spores come out. And so that way no one can get infected. He inhales all the spores, hence leading to the next part of the series. This is so far I'm liking Superman Doomed. It's really good. And that goes into Chapter 1 of Infected for Superman Doomed, which is in Action Comics number 31. And what's cool about it is you basically get a recap in a newspaper form from the Daily Planet on the events of the last book. So it comes in, Superman beat Doomsday, and now, sorry, it's really late when I'm recording this. Wonder Woman and the rest of the Justice League are checking up on him, making sure he's okay. And Lex wants to lock him up because he knows something's wrong with him, and he knows he's changing or something, because he can see it in Superman's face. And so can Wonder Woman, but she doesn't trust Lex. So tells Superman just to go away or run or something. And it's okay. And then Superman goes away, and he kind of just needs to be on his own for a while. And he starts having like this weird. Before he leaves, he has like a vision of him just breaking Lex's arm and beating the crap out of him. But then, like, he wakes up and he didn't do it. But it seems so real. So he leaves and he goes into the wilderness. He's just relaxing with Crypto, I believe this is. Yep, with Crypto, and they're just relaxing in the wilderness. With these poachers come in and start shooting these wolves, and Superman starts taking down this plane because he's pissed off that they're killing the wolves. And then he does it in a fit of rage, and then he stops and he's like, "Oh, it was just a dream again." And then he looks and he sees the wreckage of the plane. And he's like, "No, that wasn't a dream. I actually did do that." And he starts freaking out because something's happening. And then this guy, John, I can't really tell who it is. I'm not really familiar with this character, but he goes into liquid, like metal, and starts dipping himself so that way he can't get infected. Then he lets him know Superman inhaled all this stuff and he's changing and all this crap's going down with him. Then we go back to Smallville and you see Lana and Lois in Smallville dealing with everything. And you get to see something's happening to Superman where he's starting to change. And right there you can see like spikes coming out of his knuckles, and that's obviously not normal. Comes in, and then you see a picture of him walking and Doomsday kind of behind him. That's like it's not actually Doomsday, but it's what he feels inside, because he's kind of changing into Doomsday. Part 3, Superman and Wonder Woman. Is chapter 2 of the Infected storyline. Again, you get a newspaper clipping kind of recapping the last part of the book. If for some reason you didn't get the last part, or if you just didn't want to read them all in one day, but I did. You have Wonder Woman as her secret identity going to Clark's apartment, knocking on the door, and Clark's been missing for a couple days, I guess. And she finds Clark all alone, all by himself, and he's not talking like he normally does. And something's clearly different about him. He's not talking the way he is, he doesn't look the way he normally does. And then you go about 8 hours earlier, where Diana talks to, let's see, who was this? Grant. Miss Grant. At the, I believe it's, what is this called? ClarkCatropolis.com. I don't really know what that's about. But, Diana asks about Clark and how he's been, because she can't see him. And the boss basically tells her, like, hey, he came in here before, but he talked to me like he's never talked to me before. He had an attitude and stuff, and I've never seen him like that. So it was basically confirming something's up with him, and we don't know what. And then it goes back to the present time, where she's still trying to talk to Clark, and Superman calmed him down. Then you go back to about 6 hours earlier, and Diana starts to talk to Lois about Clark to see where he is. She doesn't know where he is either, and they're both really concerned with her about his whereabouts. Then 2 hours earlier, Batman's in Metropolis looking for Clark, and Wonder Woman sees Batman and hops on his Batwing and basically says, like, we need to talk, and they talk about this stuff, and Superman, or Batman tells her he's infected with the virus, but it's kind of good that he is infected, because if anyone can control the virus, it's Superman, because he has a huge amount of willpower. And then we kind of get to see, back in present time, what Superman's turning into. Right there. Which is like a mini Doomsday type thing. And so one of them's trying to fight him off. And then Batman's here, but one of them says, I've got it, don't worry. And she basically tells him what Batman told her, is that it's a mental thing. He has the power to control it if he so chooses. And so he starts fighting it, and he turns back into normal human Superman. Not human Superman, but you know what I mean. And she's like, hey, you did it. And he's like, but I can still feel it. It's trying to get out again. It's not gone, it's just suppressed. And so then Superman Doom continues in Superman number 31, which I'm not sure when it comes out, but I will definitely be getting it. Then we're going to go on to the 2 weekly series. And we're going to start with the better of the two, in my opinion. Batman Eternal, number 6. I love this book. It starts off with the Gentleman Ghost fighting Batwing, which until this issue, I did not know Batwing existed. I know. And just remember, I've just gotten into comic books again. But I wasn't really into comic books before. So there's a lot of stuff about Batman that I didn't know that I didn't know. You get what I mean? Like, I didn't know that I didn't know about this stuff. And I'm a huge Batman fan, so that kind of makes me mad that I didn't know about this stuff. So anyway, I get introduced to Batwing. Batwing's fighting Gentleman's Ghost. And then Batman shows up and helps him out. And they talk about everything that's been going on. About Red Robin and everything. And so Batman basically tells him that he needs him to check something out at Arkham Asylum. Because he is dealing with Falcone and the rest of the bullcrap that's happening with the arms dealers and the Penguin and everything. I don't want to say it's too much for him to handle, because he could handle it, but it's just, he's getting spread so thin. He's dealing with that, and from the last issue, Red Robin's dealing with another thing, and now he wants Batwing to check something else out. So he's basically just using all the resources of the Bat family to try and solve what's going on. And he comes back home, and there is a guy waiting for him. What is his name? Where is he? Jim Corrigan. I'm not really familiar with him, but Jim Corrigan is talking to Batman, and Bruce, because he knows Bruce, and he basically just says, there's something magical going on in Arkham, and since it's magic related, let me come with you, or whoever it is to handle the situation, because he obviously knows magic. And so then we go to Arkham City. Arkham Asylum, and one of the prisoners that we see before in one of the earlier issues, he's getting led by one of the doctors into a deeper part of the asylum, and talking about a dream that he's been having, and deeper into a thing, and then you get the feeling like it's a trap, and basically the doctor isn't a doctor, he's a guard for working with whoever is running this thing, and he says, here's another one for you. He's been having the dark dream, but it's more detailed than the others. He may have talent. and then you get to see that the Joker's daughter is working on a summoning in the Arkham Asylum. And so she's behind something, and I didn't read Death in the Family, so she might be trying to summon Joker. I don't know if he's dead or not. So then we go back to Luke's apartment, who is Batwing, and he sees a big explosion. And Batman radios him, hey, you need to check out something out. And he says, yeah, I saw the explosion. And he's like, no, I'm going to the explosion. You'll be meeting up with someone at the asylum. And Kerrigan is at the thing meeting Batwing. And so they're just talking, and Kerrigan basically puts like a protective spell over Batwing. And then they are about to go into the asylum, assuming they're going to confront Joker's daughter. Well, on the other side of town, Batman's dealing with whatever explosion just happened. And he's going around, and we see, I can't remember what this guy's name was. It's the green skeleton glowing guy. So if anyone knows who his name is, he might even be called Spectre. I don't know if that's his name or not. I'm just gonna call him Spectre. And he's just chilling, and then he sees Batman coming, and he says, "Get ready." And he lifts the lids off of these explosive containers and lights them as Batman's coming around, and that's how the issue ends. You see the big, and so Batman is in a pickle. And so next issue, which is 7, comes out later today. And I'm loving Batman Eternal. Man, I am loving that movie. Yes, it's clearly a movie. I am loving this series. So far, all the issues have been great, in my opinion. I know a lot of some people didn't like issues here and there because the artwork hasn't bothered me. The story hasn't bothered me. I've loved all the artwork, all the story. It's been fantastic. But, on the other hand, we have this. Future's End, number 2. Now, if you guys watched my other review for Future's End number 1, it was awful. I thought it was awful. Too many little stories. Terry McGinnis was only in it for 4 pages. Granted, Terry's not in this one for much either, but it wasn't so spread thin. Where in the first one you had Terry's story, you had, what was his name? Grinder? Something. I don't remember what his name was. Where was it? I know it's in here somewhere. I have to look for it now. I'm pretty sure it's in here. Grifter. It had Grifter story, it had Stormwatch's story, and it had Firestorm story. It was just a lot. And I thought it wasn't done that well. So, in the beginning of 2, you see Firestorm heading to the funeral of Green Arrow, which we saw die in the last one. And everyone's at the funeral, and let's see, Jason and why can I not? Raymond and Jason are still fighting because Raymond is basically saying it was your fault, Jason, that we got here too late, and if we wouldn't have gotten here too late, Green Arrow would be alive. Then you have, what is his name? Terrific, Fantastic. What was his name? I want to call him Terrific. Yeah, Mr. Terrific. He comes at the funeral and he is kind of mad that he isn't trending on Twitter. Because right now, rest in peace, Green Arrow and all that stuff is trending. He comes out and he's like the flashy superhero of the day. And he and Aquaman have a couple words because Aquaman doesn't like the way he does things. And Mr. Terrific says, "You're just mad because I rejected the Justice League and I'm as big as I am and I'm as popular as I am and as successful as I am without you." Basically a big slap to the face. Then he kind of makes a comment that I think we're going to look back at as something very important. He says, "Be lucky I'm not a villain, because something like this, with all you heroes being around, is just like firing on fish in a barrel." And then the reason I say that is because the company that Terry is trying to infiltrate is Terrific Tech. And that's where, what is it called? Brother Eye is located and being run from. So then you see Terry trying to break in and seeing where he can go to get into the thing, and they need to find a way in. And he kind of makes the comment how the Alfred program, he says, "Why, what every detective craves, Master Terry, clues." He's like, "I'm a soldier. You tell me where to go and I point my gun and shoot. I'm not a detective." And because Bruce is a master detective, the world's greatest detective, and he probably would have been able to figure this out so quickly. But Terry isn't Bruce, and we all know that. And then it goes back to the funeral. Before I do, which is funny because we haven't even seen Bruce Batman yet in this story. And the reason I mention that is because you see a whole bunch of the rest of the superheroes down here, like Batwing, and I think that's Batwoman, are over here, just chilling and talking. And so all the rest of the superheroes are gathering for the funeral. Animal Man gives a speech. Basically, I'm not going to give any spoilers about the speech because that'll give us spoilers for other stories and for the future stuff. So if you guys want to read it, go ahead and read it. And he gives about the speech and telling how he and Green Arrow became really good friends and everything. Then it goes back to Charlotte in a police headquarters where a detective turned out to be, I don't know if he's evil or something, but he's obviously not with the police, is either deleting, downloading, he's either, let's see, I can't remember if he's deleting or downloading he's uploading a virus. He's trying to corrupt all these files for something in the police station, and he corrupts them. The virus is successfully uploaded. He leaves, and he obviously knows about Grifter because he asked his boss. He'd like tell me, either his boss or whoever he's working with, about Grifter's progress. So we don't know if he's working with Grifter or he is working against Grifter, but he just knows of what he's doing. Then it goes back to the funeral, and they're carrying the casket, and you see kinda, I want to say that might be Connor, Superboy. I don't know is he called Connor in this universe or no? That my friend Chris was saying that he thinks this is Superboy, which it kind of does look like Superboy. And then Arsenal and Firestorm get into a heated argument. Arsenal's basically blaming Firestorm for getting into an argument and blaming him for Green Arrow's death. Then they get into a huge fight, and Firestorm punches Arsenal in the face. And then they get into a huge fight. They break it up. Firestorm just starts flying away. And then you go to Lois. I believe it's Lois. and she's working on her own blog, but she doesn't work at the Daily Planet anymore, it looks like. And someone leaves her a package on her desk because she just watched all that unfold. And on her front porch, leaves a package on her front porch saying, "Trust no one." And to go alone, they give her like either coordinates or address or something to follow up, and she goes. And then we get the preview for the next book, next issue. Number 2, so much better than number 1. Still not at an Eternal level, but far better than number 1. And my one Marvel book for the week, Avengers number 29, the Original Sin tie-in. Now, what's weird about this is that this takes place again after Original Sin number 2, which hasn't come out yet. So, it's kind of weird. I believe Original Sin number 2 is coming out today, Wednesday the 21st? Yeah, the 21st. So, you know what? If you guys want to see me review this, I'm going to review it after I read Original Sin number 2. Because I still don't fully really understand it. It was a great book overall, though. So, I'm going to do an entire Original Sin review, so I'm going to hold off on this. But I did enjoy it, so I would get it if you're really into the Original Sin story. Now, I probably won't be continuing to get the Avengers book once Original Sin is over. But that's just me. Not saying it's a bad book or anything, just I wasn't really that interested in it. And I already have so many books. Alright, so that was my comic book review for the week of May 14th, 2014. I know it's a really late upload. This is going up at like 3 a.m. in the morning on the 21st. So, hope you all had a good week. Hope you will have a good week. Enjoy the books you're getting today. And I will see you in the next review. Peace.